In Germany, those sick days do not count as vacation. As long as you get a doctor's note.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video titled 13 German Employee Rights Americans Would Hardly Believe Exist. I mean, what? What's there not to believe? Like, I don't see how this video is going to blow my mind, okay? But I'm curious to see if it has the potential because the title says that, right? And it was a recommended video, which means someone thinks that this video could blow my mind. So we're going to get right into it. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Any recommendations, leave us in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching as usual. And yeah, without further ado, let's see how much is these. 13 workers' rights. 13. That's a lot. Okay, now that I say that's a lot, it actually makes me think that maybe this will blow my mind, because if 13 sounds like a lot to me, that doesn't sound very good. Anyways, man, let's get right into it.
In Germany, workers get paid to stay home when they're sick, can't be fired without a mountain of legal paperwork, and by law are forbidden from working on Sundays. And that's just the beginning. Because while Americans are debating whether they deserve a single paid day off, German employees are protected by a system so thorough, it sounds like fiction. These aren't perks offered by generous companies. They're laws. And once you see what German workers take for granted every single day, you'll start wondering why the rest of the world hasn't caught up. The first right on this list alone would change everything most Americans think they know about work. In Germany, every employee is legally guaranteed a minimum of 20 paid vacation days per year. That is 4 full weeks, and it is the floor, not the ceiling. Most companies actually offer between 25 and 30 days, and that is before you even count the public holidays piled on top. Depending on which German state you work in, you could be looking at 9 to 13 additional public holidays layered onto your already generous leave. Compare that to the United States, where there is no federal law requiring employers to give a single paid vacation day. 0, not 1. In America, paid time off is a benefit, something companies offer to attract talent. Many workers, especially in hourly and service jobs, get nothing at all. In Germany, it is a basic human right baked into federal law. Here is another detail that catches people off guard. German law actually requires that at least one block of your vacation be 12 consecutive working days. The rule is meant to guarantee real, uninterrupted time away. The idea is that real rest does not happen in scattered long weekends. You need actual time away to recharge. The system is built on the belief that vacation is not a reward for hard work. It is a necessary part of staying healthy and productive. And if...
Damn, I've never really looked at it like that. I've always thought, okay, it's my reward, man. Okay, I worked hard, now it's time to relax. Wow. Okay.
If you think that is generous, wait until you hear what happens when a German worker gets sick. Here's where it gets wild. In Germany, if you fall ill, you don't have to drag yourself to the office pretending you're fine. You stay home, you recover, and your employer pays you 100% of your salary for the first 6 weeks. Not 70%, not half.
Six weeks? 6 weeks? What do you mean 6 weeks? Wow, that's actually crazy. 6 weeks is insane.
Full pay. After those 6 weeks, your health insurance kicks in and continues paying a significant portion of your salary for up to 78 weeks. And here's the part that really breaks American brains. If you get sick with something new, a completely different illness, the 6-week clock resets. You get another full 6 weeks of employer-paid leave for each separate condition. There is no annual cap on how many times this can happen. In the US, most workers dread calling in sick because they either don't have paid sick days or They are terrified of being seen as unreliable. In Germany, taking time off to recover isn't just accepted, it's expected.
Damn.
And no one looks at you sideways for doing it. But it gets even better. Let us say you are on vacation, lying on a beach somewhere in Spain, and you catch a nasty flu. In America, that is just bad luck. Your vacation is ruined, and those days are gone.
Stop. Don't tell me you get it back. No, 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 that's not right. No, that's not fair. That's not right. Okay, no, you gotta stop now. You gotta tap out. Time out. Ref, blow the whistle, please. Whatever. I hope that's not what he's gonna say, because based on the logics, when you know, they say for most people, you know, well, I don't think for most people, but I'd imagine it's most people, they're able to understand without having to listen to everything or understand everything. So if somebody's German and they speak to me and I know just a little bit of German, I can just know 2 words out of their sentence and I can tell what they're trying to say, right? That's just human. And based on what he's saying here, it seems as if you get sick on a holiday, vacation, whatever, you get the remaining days back. No way.
Luck. Your vacation is ruined, and those days are gone. In Germany, those sick days do not count as vacation. As long as you get a doctor's note, your employer has to credit those lost vacation days back to you.
Wow.
You read that right. If you are sick during your time off, you get those days returned, because vacation is meant for rest and recovery, not suffering through an illness.
Dang,
it is a concept that feels almost absurd to anyone outside of Germany, but to German workers, it is just common sense. Now let's talk about something that would send shockwaves through every American office. In Germany, your boss can't just walk up to your desk, hand you a box, and tell you to leave. Firing someone in Germany is one of the most regulated processes in the entire...
I started hearing music. I was just having to make sure if it's coming from this video. By the way, I hope that song is from somebody that I actually, you know, use their music. So hopefully I have license for that music.
Entire working world. The Protection Against Dismissal Act gives workers strong protection. It makes it incredibly difficult for employers to terminate workers without solid documented reasons.
Wow.
If a company has more than 10 employees and the worker has been there longer than 6 months, termination has to be socially justified.
Really?
That means the employer has to prove one of 3 things. The employee did something seriously wrong. The employee is personally unable to perform the job, or there is a genuine business need that eliminates the position. And even then, the process is layered with requirements. The employer has to consider factors like the worker's age, how long they have worked there, whether they have a family to support, and even whether they have a disability. Try doing that in most American states, where employment is at will, meaning you can be let go for almost any reason at any time without warning. No explanation needed, no process required. One morning, you are at your desk, and by lunch, you are clearing out your things. In Germany, that kind of system would be illegal. And even when a German employer does have legitimate grounds for termination, the notice periods are long. An employee who has been with a company for 2 years gets at least 1 month's notice. After 20 years, that notice period stretches to 7 months. The entire system is designed around the idea that a job is not something that should disappear overnight. And there's a reason firing someone is so hard, because German workers have something most Americans have never even heard of, and it might be the most powerful labor right in Europe. It's called a works council, and it fundamentally changes the relationship between employees and management. In any German company with 5 or more permanent employees, workers have the legal right to elect a works council. This is not a union. It is something different entirely. A works council is an elected body of employees that has co-determination rights, meaning management literally cannot make certain decisions without consulting them first.
Whoa.
Want to change the work schedule? The works council has to agree. Planning to install software that monitors employee activity? You need the works council's approval. Thinking about laying off staff? You have to inform the works council before issuing a single termination letter. And if you skip this step, the termination is automatically void. It does not matter how justified the firing was. If the works council was not consulted, the whole thing is invalid. For American companies entering...
I'm just being honest, I didn't think this video was actually going to shock me. I thought it was just going to be a bogus, lame video. Yeah, most of these things has, like, insanely shook me. I think number one, paid vacation was probably the least surprising in my humble opinion, because I know that exists, but in terms of the duration, that was totally a shock. But man, I'm
the German
stunned.
market, this is usually the first culture shock. The idea that employees have a legal seat at the decision-making table feels like stepping into a parallel universe. But in Germany, it has been the law for decades. And works council members themselves cannot be fired through ordinary termination. They are protected during their entire term and for a full year after it ends. Trying to obstruct or retaliate against employees forming a works council is not just frowned upon in Germany. It is a criminal offense that can land an employer in jail. Now let's move to something that affects every single Sunday in Germany. By law, most employees are banned from working on Sundays and public holidays. This is not a suggestion or a cultural norm. It is federal law under the Working Time Act. The idea is that Sundays are reserved for rest, family, and personal time. And the government protects that boundary with real legal force. There are exceptions for essential services like hospitals, police, and transportation. But even those workers must receive a replacement rest day soon afterward. At least 15 Sundays per year must be kept completely free of work. No exceptions. In America, Sunday is just another workday for millions of people in retail, food service, and gig work.
You think?
In Germany, the streets go quiet on Sundays. Most shops close. Supermarkets shut their doors. Even most gas station convenience stores operate on reduced hours. The pace of life slows down deliberately because the law says it should.
I would love to experience that for myself. I'm just being honest. It's hard to believe. It's genuinely hard to believe. And this is something that you have to experience living in Germany or actually being there for over a week, or you just got to go there on a Sunday, which is kind of counterproductive, right? But to see that people just chilling, just vibing. If you smoke, you smoking. You drinking something. You got a wife, you hanging out with wife, whatever. You got some kids, whatever. On a Sunday, I don't know. It feels good, but it don't feel right. You know what I mean? Do you get that perspective? It feels good, but it doesn't feel right, right? Because it's like I'm not used to that, right? But it would be amazing.
Visitors from the US often get caught off guard the first time they try to grab groceries on a Sunday afternoon and find every store locked up tight. To Americans, it feels inconvenient. To Germans, it feels like freedom, a guaranteed day where work cannot reach you no matter what your boss wants. And the protections don't stop when the workday ends. German law requires a minimum rest period of 11 uninterrupted hours between shifts. If you clock out at 10 in the evening, your employer cannot legally ask you to start again before 9 the next morning. This is not a guideline employers try to follow. It is a strict legal mandate designed to protect workers from burnout and exhaustion. On top of that, the regular workday is capped at 8 hours, and while it can be extended to 10 hours in certain situations, that extra time has to be compensated with time off within a set period. The overall weekly maximum is 48 hours, and going beyond that is tightly regulated. In a country like the United States, where hustle culture glorifies 60-hour and 70-hour work weeks, Germany's approach feels almost radical. But the results speak for themselves. German workers are among the most productive in Europe while working fewer hours than most of their neighbors.
Wow.
Now let's talk about what happens when a German worker starts a family, because this is where the gap between Germany and America becomes almost impossible to believe.
Okay,
German parents are entitled to up to 3 years of parental leave per child. 3 years.
How the hell does that work out? Stop. You're just bullshitting me, man. Oh. Okay. 3 years. That makes no sense. How? How? Because, like, for 3 years, if you're on 3 years parental leave, and then you have a child during that 3-year period, you're gonna be entitled to 3 more. Oh my god. I can't comprehend this. Y'all gotta break it down in the comment section. Holy shit. Whew. Oh god, this is a lot. 3 years. By the way, is it also inclusive of dads?
Years of parental leave per child. 3 years. During that time, their job is legally protected. The employer has to keep their position or an equivalent role available for when they return. Both mothers and fathers can take this leave, either together or separately, and they can even split it up, saving a portion of those months for later years.
Wait, split it up. Is that in terms of like if they take it simultaneously, that's 0.5, 1.5 for each, so 1.5 for each person, or is it a situation where both gets 3?
When the child is older. On top of that, the government pays a parental allowance during the first 12 to 14 months, covering roughly 65% of the parent's previous income. In the United States, the only federal guarantee...
What do you mean by that? 65%?
is previous income 14 months, covering roughly 65% of the parent's previous income. In the United States, the only federal guarantee is 12 weeks of unpaid leave under the Family and Medical Leave Act, and that only applies to certain employees at companies with 50 or more workers. Millions of American parents have no legal right to any leave at all. In Germany, the system is designed around the idea that raising a child should not cost you your career. And it does not end with parental leave. Pregnant workers in Germany are shielded by some of the strict protections in the world. Expectant mothers are entitled to 6 weeks of paid leave before the birth and 8 weeks after. That extends to 12 weeks for premature or multiple births. During this entire period, it is illegal to fire a pregnant employee, and that protection continues for 4 months after childbirth. Even getting government approval to terminate a pregnant worker is nearly impossible in practice. Employers also cannot assign pregnant workers to tasks that pose any risk to their health. If a doctor determines that the job itself is a danger, the worker can be placed on a full employment ban with continued pay. In America, pregnancy discrimination is technically illegal, but enforcement is inconsistent, and millions of women return to work within days of giving birth because they simply cannot afford not to. In Germany, the system does not just protect mothers on paper. It enforces that protection with real consequences. Here is one that quietly reshapes the entire work experience in Germany. Every employee has the legal right to receive a written employment contract detailing the exact terms of their job, their salary, working hours, notice periods, and more. This is not just best practice, it is a legal requirement under German law.
Wow.
And when it comes to pay, the country enforces a national minimum wage that is heading toward 15 euros per hour. On top of that, employers are required to contribute to a comprehensive social insurance system covering health insurance, pension, unemployment insurance, long-term care, and accident insurance. These are not optional benefits that vary from company to company. They are mandatory contributions split between the employer and the employee. The system ensures that every worker, regardless of their industry, has access to healthcare, retirement support, and a safety net if they lose their job. For Americans used to employer-dependent health insurance and 401k plans that may or may not exist, the German model can feel like it belongs to a different era entirely. And finally, there is a right that sounds almost too good to be real. German workers who are suffering from severe work-related stress and burnout can take extended medical leave. Under the country's sick leave laws, an employee diagnosed with burnout can receive up to 78 weeks of paid leave to recover. The first 6 weeks are covered at full pay by the employer, and after that, health insurance continues paying a substantial portion. The concept of burnout leave is not treated as weakness or laziness. It is recognized as a legitimate medical condition that requires time and space to heal. In a country where the culture already emphasizes boundaries between work and personal life, this policy feels like the natural extension.
Why am I copying a kid, bro? Oh my days.
Of a system that genuinely values the human behind the employee. And there you have it. 13 worker rights that are completely normal in Germany, but sound like pure fantasy to most Americans. From
it don't sound like it is.
Weeks of guaranteed vacation to 3 years of parental leave. From works councils with real legal power to a system that gives you your vacation days back when you get sick, Germany has built a labor framework that puts the worker first in ways that few other countries can match. If this opened your eyes to how differently work...
Bro, yes, it opened my eyes, my ears too. I'm a little bit shocked because I did not know it was this dramatic. I did not know it was this different. Like, good God, dude. Like, what? What's going on in the United States? Like, it's just like, whomever, like, back when this was happening in Germany, what was going on in the United States? Like who was in power? Who was the president? Who were the citizens? Well, it's likely my grandparents, to be honest. But like, what the hell was going on? Why is it so different? Why? I'm like literally shocked. Like the 3-year parental leave, like it's insane. Right, the sick, you know what, I think the number one thing that stood out in this entire video is the vacation. And if you become sick during the vacation, you automatically, save the remaining days, right? You actually get reimbursed. Like, that is insane and just like, that's legendary. So shout out to Germany for that. Shout out to the German lawmakers for actually doing something for the German citizens, putting their citizens before the businesses. And Germany is like, what, 3rd, 4th economy in the world? Probably number 1 in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, who says you can't balance it out? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.